she's making a proactive, positive contribution to supporting and bettering the lives of others, and we are very, very proud of her achievements. In the name and by the authority of the Academic Council, in recognition of her outstanding contribution to policy design around lived experience and trauma-informed practice, and her dedication to social inclusion and helping those from disadvantaged backgrounds, I present to you the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, Mrs. Shumela Ahmed Poole.
I confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of the University. Congratulations. Shumela, Dr. Ahmed Poole, is now signing the roll of honorary graduates of the university, which is now almost at 450 in those nearly 60 years that we've had as a university, and we're delighted that you have joined that group. Congratulations, Dr. Ahmed Poole.
Wow, it really is something to stand on the other side of this stage. Good afternoon, everyone. Chancellor, Principal, members of the university, family, guests and fellow graduates. Before anything else, I just want to say how wonderful it's been to sit on the stage today and watch you all collect your degrees. I know that many of you will overcome barriers and challenges in being here today, so well done and a huge congratulations to you all. Secondly, this isn't the end for you guys, it's just the beginning of your journey. And since I know some of you will go on to further study, maybe a master's, a PhD, but many of you will also head out into the workforce. We've got a next generation here of nurses, social workers, creatives, paramedics, scientists, sports and health practitioners, journalists, writers, and so many others. Who knows, we might even have a future politician or two in the room today. In particular, it's a real privilege to stand here today and address our future mental health workforce as well as our future social workforce. Your role in communities is so very important. I really hope you know how much you're needed and valued out there. We can't wait for you to join us. But please also remember that this doesn't all fall on your shoulders. Trauma and its impact on people, well, it's everybody's business. And every one of us in this room today have a role to play, even if we don't know what that role is yet. But one thing you can know is that relationships are the antidote to trauma. I'm sure you've all experienced the power of relationships during your time here at Stirling. I know that I have. Standing here today as a former graduate and now accepting this honorary doctorate from Stirling, it really is an incredible honour for someone like me. If I'm honest, it still feels a little bit surreal. But I receive it, and I receive this recognition with enormous gratitude, humility, and perhaps just a little bit of disbelief too. Because this recognition is for work that is deeply human, work that's relational, work that often happens quietly behind the scenes, and it means more to me than I can ever really properly put into words, but I'm going to give it a right good try today. It feels especially meaningful that this recognition comes here in Scotland, a country that has increasingly been willing to have important conversations about trauma, adversity, but also about healing, hope and possibility. For me and for my own journey towards healing and towards real, believable hope, well, it began here at this university. Through the experiences I had, and more importantly, through the relationships that I built while I was here. I often say that education has healed me way more than therapy ever has. And I think it's important to recognise that, and that, truthfully, it didn't just help heal me, it absolutely transformed my life. As Professor Scott mentioned earlier, I began my journey here on the Wee Access course, as we call it, and the experience changed the trajectory of my life, actually, in ways I could never have imagined. But the most important thing that I gained from my time here at Stirling wasn't a qualification, it was relationships. Relationships with academics, with peers, with people across the university community, people like Dr. Kevin Brosnan, Dr. Ruth Watkins, Dr. Sarah Galloway, Pauline Keith, Sue Hunter, Eddie Borges-Ray, as well as legends of the Access course, Jim Bradley and John Field, who are sadly no longer with us. I thank each and every one of those people for the role that they played in my educational journey here. But I also want to acknowledge the many services that supported me during my time here. The widening participation team, who are amazing, the finance department, student support, student union, and student learning services. In particular, humans like Tracy Kerr, Lynn Maher, Anne Russell, Jane McClenahan, Jennifer Foreman, Tim Wally, and Shona Barry. Every one of you made a difference to my life, not just during my time here at Stirling, but way beyond. And I'm sure many of you graduating today will know exactly what I mean. Perhaps there was that one person always in your corner, one person who refused to give up on you, an academic, a tutor, a fellow student, or someone from the many support systems that exist within this institution. And perhaps, like me, you were lucky enough to have many of those relationships. Because none of us arrives at moments like this alone. Each and every one of those people has played a role and a part in me standing here today. And I suspect there are people in this room who have done exactly the same for you in getting here today. But no recognition belongs to one person, certainly not one like this, and certainly not me. This honour, this doctorate, belongs to the people I've worked alongside through the years of my work, and most importantly, at Resilience Learning Partnership. Colleagues, partners, communities, practitioners, and most significantly and importantly, people with lived experience. People who have trusted us with their stories and have learned so much from them, and far ever more than I could ever teach myself. From people like my dear friend Julie MacDonald, who I actually met on the Access course here and who ended up becoming our business development manager, to every staff member we've had the privilege to call a colleague over the years. Jessie, Laura, Nikki, Jenna, Celeste, Jackie, Chris, Hayley, Tracy, Jamie and Matt, and many more across the years. To my board, each of you is a very special human, and I think I'm the most luckiest MD in Scotland to have you all on my board. To our co-founder, Richard Thompson, who is here today, thank you for being a mentor, a friend, and a constant champion. We did it. We made a difference for people with lived experience in Scotland. To Mrs. Frances Simpson, thank you for your wisdom and your integrity and your humility. I really wish I'd met you earlier on in life. To Mr. David Abernethy, never did I think I would be pals with a prison governor, but there you go. Thank you for your dedication to RLP, your consistent presence and your unwavering support. And lastly, from a board that is, Dr. Brodie Patterson, the man who has provided me with my support and supervision pro bono for over half a decade. Thank you for keeping me well, keeping me safe, and keeping me connected at the most challenging of times. I couldn't do my job without the gift you so graciously give. And that is because, well, the impact of trauma is very real in the workplace especially. And the reality is that trauma, it touches every part of society. It exists in every community, every profession, and every system. And often in ways we don't immediately see or recognise. For too long, people affected by trauma have been asked, what's wrong with you? Instead of what happened to you. And a huge part of our work at Resilience Learning Partnership has been trying to shift that conversation. Not to excuse harm or lower expectations, but to help create systems and services and workplaces that understand people better. Systems that recognise behaviour and communication often have a story behind them. And systems that value connection, compassion and dignity. Systems that understand healing is possible. Because trauma isn't just an individual issue, it's a public health issue. And it shapes families, communities, education, health, justice, opportunity, and life chances across generations. If we want a healthier, more compassionate Scotland, then we must be willing to understand trauma and respond to it differently. I feel incredibly fortunate that my work has allowed me to stand beside some of the most courageous people I've ever met, people who have experienced profound adversity and still continue to show extraordinary resilience, leadership, kindness and hope. Their strength has shaped my thinking, my values, and ultimately the direction and career of my life. To the partners and colleagues I've worked with, learned with and grown beside over the years, thank you. Your compassion, integrity, creativity and determination are what make this work possible. I know firsthand how emotionally draining this work and demanding it can be. And I know how much passion you all bring to it every single day. In particular, I would like to acknowledge and thank NHS Education for Scotland, now known as Public Services Delivery Scotland, who have played the most pivotal role in me standing here and accepting this award. I'm so blessed to have 3 of the team join me here today. Dr. Caroline Bruce, thank you. Thank you for teaching me so much, for being my unofficial mentor and my dear friend. And thank you for both recognising and always valuing so much my resilience. Dr. Sandra Ferguson, thank you for believing in me and my vision. Thank you for sharing your power. I can't believe I got to work with someone so accomplished so early on in my career. And last but by no means least, Mrs. Jenny Young. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being you. And thank you for being the absolute embodiment of what it means to be a trauma-informed human being. If anyone in this room wants to know how to be an exceptional trauma-informed practitioner, go and speak to one of these 3 ladies after today's ceremony. You'll learn a hell of a lot. And talking of exceptional ladies, I'd like to say just a wee thank you to my good friend and colleague, Karen McCluskey, who is the CEO of Community Justice Scotland and can't be here today. I just want to say to her thank you for fighting for me and thank you for fighting for all of us out there. To everyone who's ever shared their story with me, thank you for your trust. There's enormous courage in telling the truth about pain, about adversity and about survival. I never take that trust lightly. To every care experienced person out there, receiving this honorary doctorate is not something I see as an end point or a personal accolade alone. For me, it feels more like a reminder of responsibility. A responsibility to continue challenging stigma, to continue advocating for trauma-informed change, and to continue pushing for systems that are more accessible and more human. 1 in 5 people in Scotland have lived experience of complex trauma, and we're not a homogenous group all over there somewhere waiting to be fixed or rescued. We're your colleagues, we're your neighbours, we're your friends, we're your family members, and many of us are in this room today. Because ultimately, trauma-informed practice is not about buzzwords or policies on paper. It's about how we make people feel. It's about whether people feel safe, heard, valued, respected, understood. And it's about recognising humanity in one another and understanding that this is about all of us, not just some of us. I hope anyone listening today, especially those who have experienced trauma and adversity, knows this. Your experiences do not define your worth. Your voice matters, your story matters, and there's always the possibility of healing, growth, and transformation. So, I would like to end with some very special thanks to my family, who I would be nothing without. To my little brother Jamal, who without his passing, I would have no story to tell. or mission to fulfil. Jamal, it's always been a bitter pill to swallow that I would not be standing here today receiving this award if it were not for you leaving this world. It's taken me almost 2 decades to accept that, and some days it's a wee bit easier than others. But now I can see the meaning in what we experienced, the meaning in the loss, and the meaning in where I am right now at this exact moment in time. To my best friend Annie, without your encouragement and advice, I'd have never taken that next step in life and went back to school, as they say. Thank you for being my one consistent human since childhood. I love you so much. To my dad, who is here today, it feels really important and special to share this day with you. I'm so glad you're here to witness this. I love you so much. To my dear sweet in-laws, Eddie and Jean Poole, thank you for sharing your exceptional son with me and for always loving, supporting and believing in us, even when the odds were stacked against us. To my beautiful niece Mia, now a student here at Stirling, entering her 3rd year in sociology and criminology, who's also here today. I cannot wait to see the impact that you leave on the world. Your dad would be so very proud of everything you have and will go on to achieve. When cycles are broken, you, my darling, are the result. Don't forget that. To my 2 exceptional sons, Patrick and Jacob, being your mum will always be my biggest and proudest achievement, always. Thank you for supporting me to go back to school. I apologise that it happened when you were right in the midst of your own early educational journeys. And I know it won't always have been easy having your mum's time and energy consumed elsewhere so much. I really hope the sacrifice wasn't too much, and I hope you standing here today, looking at you both and beaming with pride, you know that you can achieve and do anything you want in life. There's one person that I must acknowledge today, and one person that without, I would most definitely not be standing here accepting this award. My beautiful husband, Ross. Ross, none of this would be possible without you. Whether it was helping me actually get that very first application in to the Access course, or dropping me off and picking me up before and after class on a wintry evening with the kids in tow. But even before then, before I was ready to go back to school, you believed in me, and you saw the potential in me before I even realised I had any. You knew what I could achieve before I could ever envisage it. You said to me recently, Shumela, I can do anything with you by my side. And so today, I need you to know the only reason I've been able to do any of this, the only reason I'm able to stand here and speak today and accept this award is because I've had you all these years by my side and your unconditional and unwavering love. Never mind going out in a blaze of glory. We are one big blaze of glory as to the life that we've had. So thank you all so much for allowing me on the side. Thank you all so much for allowing me to share this very special day with you. I hope each and every one of you knows that no matter what lies ahead from today onwards, you've already achieved something in life that so many others will never have the opportunity to do. Take everything you've learned during your time and journey here and go forward with confidence, with courage, and with a belief in your own potential. The path ahead won't always be easy, but it will always be full of possibility. So be bold, be brave, and never underestimate the difference you can make. This isn't just an ending, it's the beginning of everything you're capable of becoming. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. Cool. You'll always be Shumela. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.